Hey guys, Boston Ramos, and this Sunday the Miami Dolphins are traveling to Indianapolis to face the Colts, and this is an old school AFC East battle. Now, no longer an AFC East battle. Obviously, the Colts had to be reallocated in terms of the divisions because when the NFL expanded and added the Houston Texans, they had to reshuffle some of these divisions. Went from three divisions to now the divisions you see now at four. So, it makes things a little bit interesting for this Miami Dolphins team because they always play well against the Colts. It's almost like the division type of rivalry never left between these two teams. So let's get into the game preview. So we have this Dolphins team traveling to Indianapolis. Game is this October 20th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Game will be broadcasted on Fox. So depending on where you're watching from, make sure you have the right accommodations to watch it this week. But yeah, Dolphins 2-3 heading into this matchup, 1-1 on the road, and then you have the 3-3 Indianapolis Colts, who are 2-1 at home, and they just got their starting quarterback back. More for that in a second. Let's talk about the gambling lines. Currently, the Dolphins are not favored. The Colts are by -3 points. The over/under is set at 43.5. And then in terms of who's favored, it is the Indianapolis Colts once again in terms of the money line at -160. Dolphins sitting at +140 on the money line. In terms of ESPN's projections, the Colts are favored to win this matchup 70.5% compared to the Miami Dolphins 29.2. Like I said, games in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium. In terms of game time weather, it's going to be 63 degrees and sunny. I don't know if they're going to have the stadium open or not. Luckily for the fans there in Indianapolis, the stadium is one of those that can retract the roof, and they can open their big kind of barn door style window panes. So they can have the stadium pretty much completely open air. And, this will be a perfect time to do it. It's a nice, cool day in Indianapolis. And the sun will be out, too, so it won't be too cold. But, yeah, in terms of divisional standings, both teams are in second place of their respective divisions. Dolphins are sitting behind the 4-2 Buffalo Bills. Meanwhile, the rest of the division is 2-4 and 1-5, that being the New York Jets and the New England Patriots. As far as the AFC South goes, you have the Houston Texans on top of that division, 5-1, and then the Indianapolis Colts second at 3-3, and then Titans and Jaguars at 1-4 and 1-5. So big game for both teams. Whenever you face another AFC foe, it is always big time. And what else is big time? A lot of these injuries for both teams. So let's start with the Miami Dolphins. I'll say who's confirmed out for this matchup. So nothing really on the confirmed out status. It's more so guys who are trying to get back to being healthy. So Bradley Chubb, linebacker, he is out and with his knee injury. He's not off the PUP list yet, so we'll see what happens with Bradley Chubb. Obviously, Tua still on injured reserve with the concussion. Hopefully, next week he can come back and make his return to one, the Miami Dolphins lineup, and two, the NFL. And then last but not least, Jalen Phillips, obviously still on injured reserve with his ACL tear. So, yeah, unfortunate for the Dolphins. What can you do? Another one of notes on injured reserve is Cam Smith, cornerback, with a hamstring injury. And then now let's talk about the guys who could possibly play in this matchup but still are listed on the injury report. You have David Long Jr., linebacker. He is questionable for knee injury. Skylar Thompson, cornerback, questionable for a rib injury. All these guys are questionable. And then we have one doubtful guy. I'll let you know when. Odell Beckham, wide receiver, with a hamstring/personal. Austin Jackson, guard. Blake Ferguson, long snapper. Emmanuel Ogba, linebacker. All are listed as questionable. And then we have Javon Holland, safety, listed as doubtful. Hopefully Javon can play. I think he's one of those key, true, big-time playmakers, one in the safety position, but just overall in the defense for this Miami Dolphins team. Now, Anthony Weaver I haven't seen him utilize Javon Holland as other defensive coordinators have, in terms of, bringing him down all the time and making him sometimes, pass rush. But, hopefully his role in this defense starts to expand where he's doing a little bit more of those versatile things. because I think when you're kind of moving Javon Holland all around the field, I think that's when he's at his best because throws the offense off that they're facing, and makes them second guess like, where is the snowman? Where's Holland at? But yeah, let's keep it moving to the Colts injuries. We have Dayo Adeyingbo. Dayo Adeyingbo. I think I said that completely right this time. He's a defensive end. He is questionable with a hamstring injury. All these guys I'm listing off right now are going to be questionable. Alec Pierce, wide receiver, with a shoulder injury. Josh Downs, wide receiver, with a toe injury. Braden Smith, offensive tackle, with no listed injury. And then Michael Pittman Jr. with a back injury. You also can add EJ Speed, linebacker, is also questionable. And then we have guys who are on injured reserve or out. We'll start with the guys who are confirmed out. We have Chris Lamons, cornerback, with a ankle/knee injury. Jonathan Taylor, running back, is out with an ankle injury. And then in terms of injured reserve, we have DeForest Buckner, defensive tackle. He has an ankle injury. He's on injured reserve. Let me see who else I didn't leave here. Juju Brents, cornerback. He's on injured reserve for knee injury. Will Fries, guard. Has a lower leg injury. And then to round out the injuries since October is Taquan Lewis, defensive end, on injured reserve with a calf injury. If you've been following the Colts, you notice I didn't mention one specific player's names there, and that was Anthony Richardson. Yes, Anthony Richardson has been in and out of the injuries, the injury list for the Indianapolis Colts. And that's because he has been dealing with an oblique injury. And this week was the first full week of practice he's had since week 3, because maybe week 4. He's been out for the last 2 games consistently, so that's unfortunate for him. He got knocked out 3 games ago. Not knocked out, but knocked out by injury to his oblique. And I think he is a key contributor to this Colts team. And as much as Joe Flacco has had his up and down moments with this Colts team so far this season, I think there's a different type of play style that this team's going to bring. It's going to be more ground and pound. Luckily, no Jonathan Taylor for the Dolphins. Luckily for the Dolphins, there's no Jonathan Taylor playing for the Colts. And that is big time because that is just one less thing you got to worry about. And I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of their receiving core is right now listed as questionable. So who knows who's going to be lining up at wide receiver in this matchup, because you have Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, and Michael Pittman Jr. all listed as questionable. I expect those guys to play, but it's not a good look when your 3 top wide receivers are dealing with injuries. But should any of those guys, maybe like 2 of them, not play, I would highly recommend shouting out Adonai Mitchell on fantasy. If he's available in your league, check it out. But yeah, let's recap the last 5 or so games for both these teams. You have the Colts, who lost 2 straight, and then they won 2 straight. Their 2 wins coming against Chicago and Pittsburgh, and then losing to Jacksonville, and then finally getting another win against the Tennessee Titans. And then you have the Miami Dolphins, who only have played 5 games so far, and you have a win week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then most recently, a win against the New England Patriots in week 5. Week 5. Interesting fact: the only teams that Dolphins have beat are playing Sunday morning in London at 9:30. So, go check that one out before this one kicks off. But yeah, those are, I would arguably say those are 2 of the worst teams in the NFL. So, it doesn't bring me aspirations to be like, the Dolphins are, they have 2 wins. Congrats. Like, no, you beat 2 of the worst teams. So that's kind of been my outlook so far on this Dolphins season. Anyways, let's talk about the keys to victory in this matchup. So I'm going to bring up 3, and some of them may be very deep and detailed. Some of them are just going to be plain and very straightforward. First and foremost, let's start with the offensive side of the ball. You obviously don't have 2 in the lineup. Aside from that, the rest of the offense is looking pretty healthy. Not too many injuries listed off there. So what you want to do is ground and pound the rock. You want to keep that running game involved as much as possible. Many of you guys who watched the Patriots game noticed that Von Achane went out with seemed like a concussion. and not listed on the injury report. So let's see what's going on there. Hopefully he can play, but obviously we got Raheem Mostert back, so he had to carry a brunt of the load in his return last game against the Patriots, and I'm fully expecting to do somewhat of the same. The offense looks a lot better with him being the lead back, and I'm happy when he's back there toting the rock because he has the wherewithal in this offensive system that he can run the ball very efficiently, and by doing so, he is just reading his blocks, making his way up into the multiple levels. So, yeah, run the ball, run it well. Something that turned around in the Patriots game, aside from Raheem Mostert coming back and running the ball well, was just like the calling of these runs and how you went about it. Because like in previous games, we were doing 4th and 1 runs from the shotgun. Like, no, you don't do that. And luckily we have gotten a better head on our shoulders, so that's good. To add on to the defensive side of the ball, you've got to be in the backfield all over Anthony Richardson. You cannot make him have a comfortable day. As much as I'm saying that, he's also one of those quarterbacks that thrives under pressure. He can escape and extend plays. So I think if we can keep that to a minimum, that would be absolutely phenomenal for this Dolphins defense. I am concerned with without having Holland in there possibly that things may not look good in the secondary, but this secondary is not the best in the NFL, but they're one of the better secondaries in all the NFL. So I want them to have a great performance, especially if most of these injured receivers are injured and probably not even playing. If that's the case, I'm fully expecting the secondary to do well and really cripple this passing game by the Colts. And then on top of that, you don't have Jonathan Taylor in that backfield, so it's not helping the Colts whatsoever. Last but not least, just limit penalties, both sides of the ball, even on special teams. Limit penalties, limit mistakes. You want to leave this game feeling good about not having any of these crucial mistakes that set you back. You don't want to be on 3rd down allowing a penalty that would allow the opposing team's offense to get another free 1st down. And then the same thing goes on offense. You don't want a big 3rd down penalty to move you either out of field goal range or just completely out of the picture from getting a 1st down. So those are my keys to victory. You want to run the ball and run the ball efficiently. You want to get after the quarterback and make him very uncomfortable. And then last but not least, limit mistakes. Don't shoot yourself in the foot type of stuff. Aside from that, I hope the Dolphins can win. I kind of am expecting them to win if they kind of execute on those keys to victory. I think they can. But if Anthony Richardson absolutely takes over this game, I wouldn't be surprised as well. It's been kind of trying to get back, and then finally getting the okay to come back and play in this game. So should be interesting. But yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of the game preview. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next video, which will be, you guessed it, post-game review. Peace.